Today, we're going to dive into the unseen world of connectors. You know, those tiny, absolutely crucial components that power pretty much our entire digital lives. And to really get how these vital connections are made, we're going to take a peek inside a company called Vitalconn.
Just for a second, look around you. Right now, how many things do you have plugged in? Your phone, your laptop, a monitor, maybe a smart speaker? We're literally living in this web of power and data. And the whole thing, all of it, hinges on that simple, humble little connector. But have you ever really stopped to think about the incredible engineering that's packed into something we just take for granted every single day?
Yeah, because behind every single one of those plugs and ports, there's a whole world of precision engineering. These are not just little bits of plastic and metal. They're the actual lifelines of our modern world. And that brings us to Vitalconn. This is a company that lives and breathes this stuff. Their entire mission is to create these critical links that, let's be honest, we all rely on every single moment of every day.
So, how do you do it? How do you build a tiny little part that can be plugged in and unplugged thousands of times and just never fail? Well, that brings us to their blueprint for reliability.
What's so fascinating here is the timeline. I mean, look at this. The evaluation and drawing parts, super fast, just a couple of days. But then you hit mold design, 4 weeks. That's because the physical mold is everything. It's the most critical part. Any tiny microscopic imperfection there, something smaller than a human hair, is going to get replicated in every single connector they make. So this isn't just a process. It's proof of how seriously they take precision right from the get-go.
And that whole process is driven by this philosophy: quality first, full participation, continuous improvement. You know, the key phrase here is full participation. That means it's not just some inspector at the end of the line looking for mistakes. No, it means every single person on the team is responsible for quality at every single stage of the journey.
And of course, a huge part of that commitment to quality is testing. They call it the 4 pillars of testing. This is basically how they torture their own products to make sure they can survive out here in the messy, unpredictable real world. They're checking everything: electrical performance, mechanical strength, how it holds up to the environment, and the integrity of the raw materials themselves.
And they use some seriously impressive gear to do it. Just think about this. They're push-pull machines. They simulate you plugging and unplugging a cable thousands and thousands of times. The salt spray equipment? That's like mimicking decades of life in a humid coastal city just to test for corrosion. And their aging ovens literally bake the components to make sure they won't warp or fail inside a hot car or a packed server room. It's intense. And look, this isn't just them saying they're good at what they do. They've got the certifications to prove it. Things like ISO 9000 and UL, these are internationally recognized stamps of approval. It means that an independent, third-party organization came in, looked at everything, and verified that their processes meet the strictest global standards for quality and safety.
So all this intense focus on quality gets applied across a huge range of products. Let's dive into what they call their connector toolkit and see what they're actually building with all this expertise.
First up, the one we all know and see every day: USB Type-C. You know, that reversible, do-it-all port that's finally unifying our chargers and our data cables? Yep, Vitalconn is a key manufacturer of these little workhorse connectors. They also make those tiny, incredibly precise mechanisms that hold our SIM and SD cards. It's so easy to forget about them, but those little slots are literally the gateways to our mobile networks and our expandable storage. They have to be perfect.
And for our internet connections, they make things like high-performance LAN transformers. Okay, so in simple terms, think of these as tiny traffic controllers inside your computer or your router. Their job is to make sure your data flows smoothly, quickly, and without any errors. They also offer EMI shielding, which is kind of like putting a protective force field around the connection to block out interference from all your other electronics.
Now here's a great example of how they create really specialized components. Just look at the temperature range for this non-magnetic jack, from -40 all the way up to 85 degrees Celsius. I mean, that's an incredible range. It makes it perfect for everything from scientific equipment in the Arctic to heavy industrial machinery running in a desert factory. And the toolkit just keeps going. They make the classic power and video ports like DC jacks and HDMI, those internal pins that connect components right on a circuit board, and even heat sinks to pull away all that damaging heat. They really do cover the full spectrum of connection needs.
And this, right here, might just be their biggest strength. They don't just sell you what's in the catalog.
That R&D process we saw earlier, it lets them work directly with innovators to design and build completely custom connectors, taking an idea from a simple drawing to a real physical product in just a matter of weeks.
So when you put it all together, the super precise process, the brutal testing, the huge product range, you start to realize this is about way more than just making components. It's about the Vitalconn philosophy.
These are their 4 core values: fight, innovation, love people, freedom. It really speaks to a culture of tackling the toughest engineering challenges, always pushing for new and better solutions, valuing their team and their customers, and having the creative freedom to build the future of connectivity.
And it all comes full circle, right back to their tagline. From a tiny little pin to a complex port, every single piece they make is designed to forge a vital connection, powering the technology that shapes our whole modern world.
So, the next time you plug something in, just take a second. Appreciate that little piece of unseen engineering that you're holding in your hand. It's a small piece of a huge interconnected world. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the vital connections that power your world?